Welcome back to studying Greek modes using Python. And last time we had an overview of this code here where we started to take a look at the major scale. We're studying our first mode, as the major scale is also the Ionian mode. And we had a look at some intervals of the major scale, some characteristics of the major scale, and an overview of the code. Now we'll go in details. Through the code, starting with this first line here. So we see that we are creating a major scale. So I'll create an F# major scale, and I'm calling scale.majorscale from the Music21 library. And we see that we have this object scale, Music21 scale, major scale is the F# major scale. So let's take a look about this scale. So the scale is a Python module, and the purpose of this module is to have classes for representing scales. The various scale objects provide a bidirectional object representation of octave repeating and non-octave repeating scales built by a network of interval objects as modeled in the interval network. The main public interface to these resources are some subclasses like the concrete scale, major scale, minor scale, melodic minor scale, and we also have other scales like the octatonic scale, sieve scale, Ragmarva scale, and others. So what we are using here, it is the major scale that is it's a subscale of this, which is a subclass of this scale module. So here in the Music21 documentation, we have this Music21 scale. Basically is the same of what we used here using our help, but here it lists the contents of this module. We have concrete scale, abstract harmonic minor, melodic minor, octatonic scale, chromatic scale, diatonic scale, then we have Dorian scale, harmonic minor scale, Hippoaeolian scale, Hippodorian scale, Locrian scale. Now we see already that we have some modes already built in. We have here the major scale, what we are using, the whole tone scale, just a scale. So let's look at the major scale. Well, the major scale is a class, have many properties, some read-only properties that are inherited from the concrete scale. So the major scale is based on the concrete scale, and we have the chord, name, pitches. Then we have some read-only properties that are inherited from the Music21 object, that is beat, beat to rate, beat duration, and we have some major scale read and write properties that are inherited from the concrete scale, like abstract. And we have some methods we can call that they're inherited from the diatonic scale. So we can see that the major scale inherits from a concrete scale, it inherits from a Music21 object, it inherits from a diatonic scale, because the major scale is a diatonic scale. And what they talk here about concrete scale is that a concrete scale is a specific scale formation with a defined pitch collection, or a tonic pitch that may or may not be bound by a specific range. For example, a specific major scale such as G major from G2 to G4. And this class can either be used directly or more commonly as a base class for all concrete scales. We are using indirectly because we are using as the major scale, as we can see here in our code. We are creating F# major scale. So we are giving a specific pitch, and then we are creating this major scale. So let's take a look at the documentation. So it is a class representing the major scale, inherits from diatonic scale. So we could, for example, construct this major scale passing a pitch. Now we can do many things with this F sharp major scale. So we can, for example, we have many attributes and methods like we've seen before. So we have, for example, get pitches, and we have a list of the pitches that forms this F sharp major scale, which is similar to what we are doing here. Instead of using these methods, we are getting this attribute pitches, and we have the same list of pitches. We can also have the name of our scale. We could get the leading tone of the F sharp major scale, and the leading tone of the F sharp major scale is the E sharp. We could, for example, get the dominant of the scale. So the dominant will be the 5th degree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be C sharp, but we could directly get dominant, and we have the pitch C sharp 5. So there are many attributes and methods that are part of the major scale class. You can take a look both in the documentation here at Music 21 or when you get help. So there are many things we can do with a major scale object. You can take a look here at the Music 21 documentation to check which other classes the major scale is based on, what are the properties. You can take a look here at the documentation of the major scale, and we will discuss this in our other tutorials. Next time we will talk about this line here, which is the stream class and the stream module. See you later.